Have you ever wondered what will happen to your money, your home, or everything you have worked so hard for after you pass away? Many people want to leave their property and savings to their family, especially their children. It sounds simple. You just pass everything to them, but in real life, it is usually not that easy. Children may argue about who gets what. Family fights happen more often than you may imagine. If you are a single parent with a young child, you may worry even more. How can an 8-year-old handle a large inheritance? Who will protect that money until your child is old enough to use it wisely? This is where something called a trust becomes very useful. A trust is not a box you can touch. It is more like a special container for your money, your property, and your valuable things. You place your assets inside this container, and you choose someone you trust to look after it. This person or trust company is called the trustee. The trustee follows your instructions and makes sure your assets go to the right people at the right time. The most important part is that a trust is protected by law. If the trustee follows the rules you set, nobody can complain or sue them later. Many people have heard of trusts, but they do not fully understand how they work. Some people use trusts to make sure their children receive their inheritance smoothly. Others use them to protect a young child who cannot manage money yet. Wealthy people sometimes use trusts to reduce taxes. No matter the reason, the idea behind a trust is actually very simple. To understand how a trust works, we need to know 3 main roles. The first role is the grantor. The grantor is the person who creates the trust and decides what goes inside it. The second role is the trustee. The trustee is the person or organization that manages the trust. They follow the rules set by the grantor. The third role is the beneficiary. The beneficiary is the person who will receive the benefits from the trust, such as money or property. Let us take a simple story to make this clear. Meet Alice. She once lived happily with her husband Alex and their young son. But one day, Alex passed away, and Alice became a single mother. She worked very hard and slowly built some savings. She bought a house. She started a small business. Over time, she had built a small but meaningful amount of wealth. Alice began to worry about something. If she passed away while her son was still young, who would take care of her house, her savings, and her business? She did not want everything she worked for to be wasted. If she gave all her assets directly to her young son, he would not know how to manage them. She wanted her assets to be protected and used wisely. So Alice decided to set up a trust. First, she chose what assets to place inside the trust. She placed her savings, her home, and her business inside it. This made her the grantor. Next, she appointed a professional trust company as the trustee. They would be responsible for managing the trust according to her instructions. When Alice transferred her assets to the trust became the legal owner. This does not mean the trust company owns her things. The trust itself is like a container that holds them. Alice can still live in her home, run her business, and use the money, but the trust is the official owner. Then Alice named her young son as the beneficiary. She wrote clear rules for how the trust should support him. For example, the trustee should pay for his school fees and living expenses. When he turns 20, the trustee must transfer all the remaining assets to him. As long as the trustee follows these instructions, everything will run smoothly. If the son asks for more money than the rules allow, the trustee can refuse because they must follow Alice's wishes. When the son reaches 20, the trust ends and everything is passed to him. If the trust company breaks the rules, the son can take legal action to protect his rights. Understanding trust types is also important. There are 2 main ways to look at them. One way is by how much control the grantor has. The other is by when the trust takes effect. A revocable trust allows the grantor to change or cancel the trust at any time. They can add or remove assets. They can rewrite the rules. It offers flexibility and still allows the assets to pass smoothly to the beneficiaries without going through the long and expensive court process called probate. An irrevocable trust is different. Once you place assets into it, you cannot easily change the trust. It is permanent, but it also provides strong protection. The assets inside are usually safe from creditors and sometimes safe from taxes. People use irrevocable trusts when they want strong protection and are willing to give up control. Then there are living trusts. These start while the grantor is alive. The grantor can still use the assets while the trust owns them. Living trusts can be revocable or irrevocable. The main advantage is that they avoid probate, which saves time. saves money, and keeps your personal matters private. There are also testamentary trusts. These are created in a will and only start after the grantor dies. They are often used when someone wants to give assets to a child at a certain age. But because they are part of a will, they must go through probate, which can be slow and costly. Trusts also offer many benefits. The first major benefit is avoiding probate. When someone dies, most of their assets go through probate, a slow legal process. Probate is public, expensive, and stressful. A trust allows assets to pass directly to beneficiaries without court involvement. Another benefit is control. With a trust, you can decide exactly how and when your children receive your assets. You can allow monthly payments for education and living expenses and prevent young adults from spending everything at once. Trusts also protect assets. If a beneficiary has financial problems, debts, or even addictions, the assets inside the trust are usually safe. For example, if a son becomes addicted to gambling and builds up debt, creditors cannot take the house that is still held inside the trust. The trust protects it. Trusts can also help with taxes. In many places, large estates are taxed, but assets placed in certain types of irrevocable trusts may not be counted as part of the estate. This can save families a significant amount of money. Trusts are also helpful for people with disabilities. Some people with disabilities receive government help, but if they receive money directly, they may lose those benefits. A special trust allows them to receive financial support without affecting their eligibility for assistance. Trusts can even help protect assets during divorce. If someone places a house into a trust before marriage, the spouse may not be able to claim it during a divorce because it is owned by the trust. However, trusts also have disadvantages. They often require fees, especially when a trust company manages them. Some people do not like giving up control. In an irrevocable trust, once you place assets inside, you cannot take them back or change your instructions easily. And trusts can be complex. Simple trusts can be set up online, but complicated trusts require experts or attorneys. Even with these challenges, many people still choose to use trusts because the benefits often outweigh the disadvantages. Trusts provide protection, privacy, flexibility, and peace of mind. Now let us wrap everything up. Trusts are powerful tools that help people protect their money, guide their inheritance, and care for the people they love even after they are gone. A trust gives you a voice in the future. It lets you continue guiding your family, protecting them, and supporting them long after you can no longer be there in person. A trust is more than a legal tool. It is an act of love, responsibility, and foresight. It tells your family that you cared enough to plan ahead. It tells them that your protection continues. And it reminds them that your legacy is not only the money you leave, but also the wisdom and care you pass on. If you ever decide to build your own trust, think of it as building a final gift, a gift that brings order, peace, and security to the people who matter most to you.